and welcome to the Total Soccer Show. My name is Daryl Grove. I have no strong feelings about Norway. I'm joined by a man who is frustrated with Norway. His name is Taylor Rockwell. Hello.
Hello, I am. They could have done better. They could have done more. Instead, it was France.
Are you concerned about what they're doing with the North Sea oil?
Yeah, I mean, I don't like it. I'm not. I mean, also their troll policy. I'm a little concerned about.
Troll policy?
Yeah, you should watch Troll Hunter. If you haven't seen Troll Hunter, go watch Troll Hunter. It's like a movie in which, like I think it ends with like the Norwegian government sort of like knowing that trolls exist and like covering it up. It's pretty great. It's pretty great. It's a good movie.
They just put it in a box somewhere like X-Files.
Oh, no, there's a bunch of them. There's like a gigantic, like 8-story tall troll.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
I think I'll see that movie.
It's wonderful.
I won't be seeing that movie.
You probably should.
But you weren't frustrated so much with that as with Norway's passing in their 2-1 defeat to France, which we will discuss later in today's show. We're doing it chronologically today. Right?
I have to believe we're one of the few soccer podcasts that begins with Troll Hunter. But yes, we will end by analyzing Norway's passing or lack thereof. But we're going to go, chronological order.
Yep. So it's Nigeria, Korea, 2-0 to Nigeria. It's Germany, Spain, 1-0 to Germany. And then it's France, Norway, 2-1 to France. Also, spoiler alert for all the Women's World Cup action. But if you press play on this show, you knew what you were in for.
You knew what you were in for.
We have no sympathy for you.
No sympathy at all. I'm just going to echo what you say. So Nigeria, Korea,
yes,
2-0 to Nigeria. They scored one of the goals.
They did.
But maybe used their hand to score another?
They scored both of the
Exactly.
goals. Okay, first, I want to address something that I think was happening in the commentary and maybe a little bit on Fox. A lot of talk about Nigeria's pace and power.
Yeah.
Not enough respect, I think.
Hey, sometimes they were fast and physical.
But not enough respect for what essentially to me seemed like a good counter-attacking plan from Nigeria.
There were shades of Senegal-Japan from the Men's World Cup in 2018 when the commentators didn't know a single player's name.
By commentators, you mean Warren Barton?
Yes.
I'll name him for that because he should have done his research.
Yes, and did not. But he did know the big-name players. This one, at least, the commentators knew that much. But yes, there was a lot of well-organized, disciplined, hard-working Korea versus fast and physical Nigeria.
Yeah, which is not the whole story, right? The story is that Nigeria knew how to counterattack.
Yes, exactly.
Knew how to play balls in behind.
Yeah. I mean, also, you can win a tackle, and that means you just won the tackle. That doesn't mean it's like part of your game plan. So, I'm with you that it was more so Nigeria kind of knowing the patterns in their counterattack. That seemed to be the key of this game for me.
Should we talk about the own goal first then?
Sure.
So it's an own goal from Kim that opens a scoring, 29th minute. It is a wonderful ball, in my opinion. I think we disagree on this slightly. The number 10, Chikwelu, she does a nice little move to throw off Korean midfielder number 23, I can't remember who it was, goes back the other way, and then I think sends a curving through ball over the top of two Korean defenders, and it's there for Oparanozi to run onto. Instead, Kim sticks her leg out.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, on first viewing and the subsequent 30 viewings by myself, I thought it was a fairly, wayward pass. You have convinced me somewhat more that I think if Kim doesn't try to make a play on this, I think it does drop into the path of Oparanozi because she is kind of changing her run to get on the end of it. I don't know if it ends in a clear-cut shooting opportunity, but I think it ends in at least enough of an opportunity that it made Kim concerned because that's why she tries to make a play on the ball. Tries to, being the operative phrase there.
And I started with that just because I really want to underline the idea that Nigeria, again, it's not just about being fast, it's about timing the runs in behind, which Oparanozi does here, and Azizata Shwala does later. And it's about having someone who can hit those passes perfectly, which Chikwelu, I mean, okay, you're going to disagree with the word perfectly, but can hit those passes successfully, which Chikwelu does here.
Well, I would also say, maybe we disagree a little bit on the ball itself, but I would say the way it was played, the cutback, find the space, then hit the ball in, and it's weighted enough that it doesn't just go straight out of bounds, which is a thing that we saw a lot from Spain and certainly a decent amount from Norway. I think
couldn't resist another dig at Norway.
Well, I could not. They deserve
Maybe
it.
You're the real troll hunter.
That's fine. If the troll is overhit passes and misdirected passes. No, but I think, what I mean to say is that I felt like Spain and Norway were a little bit more panicked. We talked about this yesterday. I forget which team we were talking about, but it's sort of once you start chasing, and if it's the 30th minute and you're 1-0 down or it's 0-0, maybe you feel a little bit more confident. When it's the 60th and 70th and now you're 1-0 down, I think you start to panic a little bit more and you start to force passes and force opportunities.
Japan?
And exactly. And I felt like in this game, Nigeria, this pass, for an example, it is in the first half, but it's still just the way she cuts back and holds it up and then plays the ball instead of just hits it first time because maybe it's on.
Absolutely. That's why I think Chikwelu is a player to watch, number 10 for Nigeria. Well, let's talk about what happens when this ball is landing. So Kim, number 5, who ends up debited with the own goal. I think she's trying to use the outside of her foot to like clear it and maybe knock it out for a corner kick.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you what part of her leg it hits in the end. Does it hit the inside of her foot? Does it hit her shin?
I think she's either doing what you said or she's going for like the overhead kick clearance without like.
She send it back the other way.
Exactly. Yeah. But either way, I think it comes off of like she's using her right leg, and I think it comes off the left side of her shin.
There we go.
Basically
that
what happens
right.
here.
Yeah.
That said, I'm not sure it's 100% going on frame. I do think there's a chance that maybe there's a little bit of a handball there from Aparanosi.
So I'll say this. Definitely, Aparanosi sticks her hand out in a way that is... the only intention can be to try and get a touch on the ball.
I watched this a bunch because I thought maybe there's a chance that she thinks, it's going to come across my path. I can like chest it down, and so she's got the arm out the way
she's opening up.
But she's not doing that. So I don't know why else it would be there except for maybe trying to distract because she knows the goalkeeper has come off her line, which she has because I think maybe she thinks she can collect this ball cleanly.
Mesmerize the goalkeeper like a vampire.
It's the you can't see me. Yes, exactly.
And then Nikita Paris.
Exactly.
Who was the wrestler? John Cena.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I like your vampire hypnotism idea better. Yes. But so
you will not stop this ball.
And here's the thing:
we've been watching too much What We Do in the Shadows.
We have. I love that show so much. I'm not so good at hypnotizing. I can only make it work when the person wants to do what I'm trying to get them to do. That's not hypnotizing. That's just getting a person to do what they want to do. Anyway, the thing that is extra confusing on top of everything we've already talked about is that, as I said, Aparanosi, it looks like she gets a finger to it, and I do think that's enough.
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I've seen multiple replays from multiple angles. Every time we freeze frame and slow it down, it gets a little pixelated, so you can't see definite contact between fingers and ball.
That's the thing, and because it's the fingers,
it's possible,
because
right?
at the very end, and in a lot of angles, it was like just off screen, so you can't really see. Like a lot of times, the way you and I will gauge it is like, do you see the arm move at all? Can you see like the muscle ripple? That means the ball has hit the bicep. Here, I was looking at the fingers. You can maybe see it, but I will say in the very first angle of it, like the kind of normal camera view, it does look like the ball is going slightly one direction and then slightly changes after it
straighten up a little bit in terms of straighten up to be on goal.
I think so. So
here's my guess. There's a VAR check, right? There's and a long one.
Yes.
I didn't time it, but it's a long old time.
It is long by VAR standards. Yes.
My guess is that the video assistant referees are doing video assisted referees are doing what we were doing, which is just looking and looking and looking at multiple angles and multiple replays and slowing it down and trying to decide was there contact. And my hard guess, which I'm really confident in, is that they essentially couldn't prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that Aparanosi definitely touches it, so they have to let it stand. They had no firm evidence against her.
I'm mostly inclined to agree with you.
It's like a court of law in my mind.
Yes, I'm inclined to agree with you. Mostly because I wasn't actually listening, because I'm now obsessed with is it video assisted or is it video assistant? I don't know anymore.
That's not the important part here. The important part is my theory that essentially, even though they kept watching, they couldn't see definite contact, so they couldn't rule it out.
Yeah.
Fair?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 1-0. Unless you have anything else to say about this Kim goal.
It should be video-assisted referees, though, right? No, I don't have anything else to say about this goal, but I do want to talk about the second one because it is a thing of beauty.
Oh, yes. So in the second half, in the 75th minute, again, it's a counter-attack, essentially, right? Guess who it starts with, Taylor?
Okeki?
Chiquilu.
Okay. Number 10. Yeah.
The right back is heavily involved, but Chiquilu is the one that gets the original sort of...
I feel like you set me up there.
Poke tackle. You were still thinking about VAR and what it should stand for. So Chiquilu gets the original poke tackle in to disrupt a South Korea attack. And essentially, here's my take on it, Korea just scrambling to get a touch to win the ball back. And I can't remember who it is, but there's a player who just pokes it into nowhere and sets up a 50-50.
Yeah.
Number 17, Franny, I've forgotten her second name. Franny Ordega puts a good challenge in, but I don't think touches it.
She is like a 30-yard sprint back.
She's not just there, right?
No,
she comes back to challenge.
But it is a foot race with the Korean player, and because of that, I don't think either one of them touches the ball, but it's enough that I think otherwise, like the Korean player that you mentioned who squares that ball to no one, she then makes a run forward, I think because her idea is there'll be an advancing left back, I'll play it wide, I'll run to the back post, there'll be a long ball back in, and we'll have an overload. And I think most of the Korea team thinks we're going to retain possession. This is still our opportunity to attack.
Korea's ball.
Yeah, and I think because of the effort of Ordega, that completely puts off the Korean players. And also, even though neither one of them gets a touch, it still pulls everybody in, and then it allows space for Okeke, the right back, to now advance. And she has a couple great touches, a nice little move, and then a great ball in behind.
She does. So first of all, she reads it, right? She realizes this is my chance to move forward, like 15 yards and get there first, take this ball. And then she does a move that I call the this way, that way,
Yep.
where you put it one side of the defender, but you go the other. I'm going to assume it's the left back, Zhang, number 16, also wearing the captain's armband, so I'm pretty sure. So you just put it one side, run the other side.
Actually, I think it was Zhang who, I could be totally wrong, I think it was Zhang who committed to the foot race with Ortega.
Okay.
I said that only because, and I made Ortega Spanish there for a moment, not sure why, but I think it's because Kim, the own goal scorer, I think then she comes out wide and then kind of everybody slides over because Kim, the right back, ends up playing as like a right center back. So I'm assuming everybody slides over to cover.
All right. Either way,
yeah.
Great move from Okeke.
100%.
It's one of the most, to me, aesthetically pleasing moves in soccer. Is the I poke it one way, but I'll run around you the other way, because it's just this very basic misdirection or very obvious misdirection.
It's also the type of move that only ends in more momentum. Like if you pull it off, there's no way you do that and then stop and put your foot on the ball. As soon as you see a player do it and go around the other side and get the ball back, you're like, oh, this is going places. This is going to be a shooting chance for sure.
Well, this was going places.
It was.
And I'll tell you where it was going. It was going exactly where Asizat Super Z Ashwala points that she wants it to go.
It does.
So she's making a run in behind the defenders, and she points essentially ahead of herself and slightly to the right. That's where Okeke put it. It is a perfectly sort of just slightly bent ball, kind of down the line, but bending back into the middle.
Yes, yeah, and then does very well to hold off the defender. I think it was flying on this one.
Number 4.
And I can't tell if it does very well to go around the goalkeeper or if it's a mistake from Kim Min-jung, the goalkeeper for South Korea, or maybe both. But I think Kim, for the second time in this game, is off her line but doesn't really have a good angle on it, and is also off her line too early. Obviously, for the own goal, she's off, and then that's why it's able to kind of roll in.
She thinks it's going to bounce through to her, right? Yeah, which she's maybe not wrong.
But I think in both cases, she's come off her line and then she's stopped. She's kind of standing when the ball goes past her for the first one, and here she's come off of her line and now she's standing. So again,
she goes down though, right?
Doesn't
Swallow make a bite on? I'm going to shoot, so you got to go down and make a save.
Because she's that far out, I think she has to try something, and so then she has to dive to one way. But Oshwala can just take a touch by her and then pass that ball in. It's a really tight finish from a tight angle.
Yeah.
But I still think if Kim, the goalkeeper, is a little bit further back, it probably ends up getting saved.
I see. So if she hadn't come off a line, essentially.
Yep.
Yeah. But Ashwala exploits it when she does.
She does.
What I really like is she manages to take a touch that's close enough that she doesn't run it out of bounds, and she just, and I'm going to say only just, maintains enough angle to shoot at.
Yeah, and we watched it a couple times to make sure it does. She could have potentially squared it to a Paranosi who had made the kind of central run.
No intention.
She's shooting the whole way, and she should have been. She made that happen. She worked it. She scored it.
If you've calculated the angle and I can get this, why not, right? Absolutely go for it.
And I credit Okeke, because once you do the this way, that way, now you've kind of set the tone for, now you got to go do something with this ball. And something is scoring a goal.
So Okeke did okay. So there you go. It's 2-0 to Nigeria.
It is.
You want to move on to the very next game?
I suppose I do.
Next game is Germany-Spain.
More weird goals in this game.
Yeah, weird goal in this game. Some weird defending.
Yeah.
I was excited for this one, though, because it's two really competitive teams, right? So this reminded me a little bit of watching an even better version of Australia-Italy, because it's two teams who either team could have won this game. In the end, Germany win this game.
Yes.
1-0. What's the main reason Germany win this game?
I think a big part of this game, and again, the Norway-France game, is if you've been there before, you kind of have a little bit more calmness on you.
Right?
And I think...
Or if enough of your players have been there before.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think Germany, again, this was not a comprehensive, really compelling victory for Germany. It's similar to the China game in that they find a way to get a goal. And I think the biggest thing for me was that it seemed like Germany were focused on playing on the break. I think it seemed like maybe they thought if they can pull Spain out a little bit, there will be opportunities.
Yeah.
And so certainly in the first 30 minutes, I felt like Spain had better chances and had a little bit better possession. But I think Germany were kind of playing that way and set up to frustrate and then break on the counter. And then I think...
I agree. I want to get into some detail on that.
Sure. Okay, let's do it.
So I think Coach Vos-Tecklenburg absolutely got this right.
Yeah.
Because as you said, they set up a little more defensive. Instead of there's a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3 in the original game. Obviously, no Jennifer Morrison. What they did in my book is had a 4-4-2.
Yep.
But really focused on attacking the right side and just being super defensive on the left side. And the biggest example, I think, is the left mid was Oberdorf.
Yeah.
Only 17, but she's kind of a holding midfielder, right? So you absolutely shore up one side. Then on the other side, you have Gavin. I think I called her Gwyn when she scored the first goal because I didn't know how to pronounce it correctly. Gavin as the right mid. And then this is the key to me, the whole game to me. Your two forwards, Hoot and Pop. Technically two strikers who should be one a little bit left, one a little bit right. Instead, Alexandra Popp played straight up down the middle centre forward, and Hoot always drifted to the right.
Yep.
So what Germany had is a massive overload down that right side, because you have Hoot running down there, you have Gvin, and then you have the attacking fullback Hendrik as well. So you sort of focus all your attack down one side, keep going down that side, keep working that side, but really shore it up on the other side, the defensive left mid.
Yeah, which makes sense, because like you put your better defenders in a spot where you can kind of block Spain from going down one side, and then you kind of focus your attack on the opposite side, hoping that maybe Spain get overextended to try to make up for kind of being stymied, and then you have opportunities, and that's basically what Germany had.
Where the goal comes from, right?
Exactly.
The goal comes from an attack down the right.
Yeah.
Who is it who's the beautiful pass into Hoot's pass? It's Goosling, number 8?
Yes, it is.
Goosling clips this wonderful ball that goes over the Spanish left back, Corredera, and I think another centre back. It lifts over both of them for Hoot to run onto. And again, this is Hoot centre forward running the right channel. And then one of the best crosses we've seen this tournament, because this lands right on Alexandra Popp's head.
It does.
Yeah.
To the extent that I think Pop was kind of maybe not ready for it to be so perfect.
Yeah.
Like maybe there's something to be said for it was too good, because she hits
directly down and center.
Yeah, at Sandra Paños, the goalkeeper for Spain, and
correct use of Matilde.
Thank you, Paños. and I thought at first viewing she does a good job to make this save, because it is Pop. It is in a strong position to get the header. She gets a lot of power behind it. I think you pointed out, and I'm now inclined to agree, she makes a good save, but her parry, she kind of gets first contact with her left hand, and I think doesn't get it evenly, so isn't able to kind of hold on to it or just parry it out of bounds. Instead, she parries it away from her, but still in front of goal.
Into the 6-yard box.
And it basically just creates massive confusion.
But Tarahan, the right back, Marta Tarahan, she had Marta on her shirt, right?
Yeah.
Definitely should have done better. Because she is there first. She has the opportunity to just kick this thing away, right? Instead, she kind of shields it in a weird way, and De Bruyts has been running through. De Bruyts gets there and essentially slide tackles it into the back of the net.
I think there are two things happening simultaneously in this sequence. I think Torrejon, I think she thinks maybe I can play this out of bounds. Ask Wendy Renard how hard that can be. I think
we'll talk about
because
that
it is in front of the goal, and so I think she has to make the choice to play it out of bounds, but make sure she doesn't play it into her own goal.
I see.
But I also think she thinks Paños, the goalkeeper, is maybe coming across to collect it. And so at the very last second, you can see her kind of do the thing a defender will do when they're shielding off a player, where they kind of put the arms out. They kind of spread out a little bit. Yeah, and they try to create a barrier that the attacker can't get by, except that she waits too late to do it. And I also am not entirely sure that she knows that De Bruyts is right there.
So I went back and saw the wider angle. When the ball goes down the right to Hoot, De Bruyts starts her run. She's maybe thinking far post cross. If it doesn't go to Pop, it goes far post, and maybe I get it. Tarahan does check her shoulder and look over at that point. But at that point, De Bruyts is 20 yards away from her.
Yep.
I don't think you see her check her shoulder again at all until De Bruyts comes sliding through. So I would say at the point that De Bruyts charges in, Tarahan's not aware that she's there and thinks she's maybe just shielding it for the goalkeeper to
I think she's in the mindset of, I'm worried that if I try to pass this, I might just end up turning it into my own goal.
Yeah.
Plus maybe Paños is going to come back and collect it. So I'll just wait. And then De Bruyts just kind of slides through and does, I think, even get the first touch to it. I think eventually Torrejon is able to try to get a toe to it, but it doesn't really matter at that point. It's already going in the goal.
Ooh,
and that's where... And then I think that's where it changes a little bit, because then I think Spain are panicked. Up until that moment, it's 0-0 and we're holding on and we've gotten some good attacks.
Yeah.
And after that, I felt like it got very direct and predictable.
It was weird, right? Because Spain earlier in the game were at least a possession team that should have moved the ball. Later on, it seemed like it was direct from back to front, and then when it got to the front, players would just try and dribble at German players.
Yeah, I mean,
and eventually lose the ball.
The one that I showed you that stood out to me was it was 60.
Garcia?
Yeah, it was the one where she 77-45. If you want to watch it, she goes for skill and tries to pull off a move and basically dribbles straight to the defender, and then in trying to get it back, fouls the defender.
Yeah,
and I say that only because you want an attacker who's going to try stuff, but it was. As if you're chasing a game, similar to what we were just talking about with Nigeria, there is an element of you want rhythm to your attack. You want everybody to kind of feel it. You want to kind of be building up the momentum. And every time it stops and it goes out of bounds, and then you concede a free kick, and you concede another free kick, and you put it out of bounds for an attacking throw in for Germany when maybe you could have controlled it and played it back to the goalkeeper. You just keep breaking up your rhythm. And I felt like Spain, because of that sort of long ball over the top, that doesn't come off. Then, a driven ball into the feet that's settled, but then there's two step overs and the ball gets poked away. There just wasn't any rhythm to the attack at all.
And the chances that did come, Garcia kind of panicked and wasted all of them.
83rd minute, she has the one where basically she gets in behind the German defense, but never picks her head up and just tries to square the ball. Yeah. And there's no one there. She does not have a teammate within 5 yards of where she plays the ball.
Rushed, right? The thing I thought is the only calm on the ball Spanish attacker is Hermoso, number 10. But because what they did in this game, they played her essentially up front, I think, in the first game. This game, they dropped her into like an attacking midfield role, and it's sort of 4-2-3-1, basically, right? And it felt to me like she would, not always successfully, but she would occasionally put through balls through for Garcia. Yep. And what they needed was for Hermoso to be on the end of her own through balls, because she would have been the calmest striker. And they essentially have to choose. Do we play Hermoso as a centre forward and there's no one calm in midfield, at least enough to match with Germany, I'm sure, against weaker teams maybe? Or do we play Hermoso as an attacking midfielder and she can't get on the end of her own through balls?
But I think
they need two Hermosos.
But I think she does get on the ball a little bit more, and also because Spain go a little bit more aerial. I can't remember if we've already mentioned this or not, but one of the things that you seemed pretty taken by, pretty surprised by?
Surprised is the word. Yeah, so Vas Tecklenburg, the German coach, what she does is she switches from the 4-4-2, goes to a 4-2-3-1, brings on a different striker, so it's Clara Bull, comes on and plays centre forward. Alexandra Popp, who I talked about in my preview, how she had to play on the wing and this and that while she was waiting for the other German strikers to retire. Alexandra Popp goes and plays defensive mid. She sits in the 2 in the 4-2-3-1. And I was quite impressed that she could do it successfully, but I was flabbergasted by why you would do this or why you would ask her to do this. I think your suggestion was that maybe it was because Spain were going a bit more direct from back to front. Pop's so good in the air. That she's just going to win a bunch of aerial balls.
And I think, and then has the kind of the steel you need to go into 50-50 challenges and come out with the ball, and not concede free kicks, because that is the other thing I did want to talk about in this game. I do think Germany got lucky, because in the 62nd minute, I think, Schwiers, the left back for Germany, she commits a foul on Lucia Garcia, and was given a yellow card for it. It's right at the top of the box. I'm inclined to say that should have been a red card.
Why red instead of yellow?
Because to me, it was the last defender. It's about 20 yards out. That's why the free kick is right at the top of the box.
So denial of goal scoring opportunity.
But from outside of the box, because we know there's no double jeopardy now. So if that foul occurs inside the box, it's a penalty and a yellow card, because she's trying to make a play on the ball. And I do think she's trying to make a play, but Lucia Garcia is basically in on goal and then gets knocked back because of the foul.
I think the commentators said that there are other defenders in the box. They were, but they were wide of Lucia Garcia.
They certainly weren't.
If Lucia Garcia had gone through, she's maybe one touch and shoot, or first touch could be a shot. That's the definition of a goal scoring opportunity. Right?
And her teammates were gesticulating for the red card to happen. It did not. I think maybe they took a look at it on VAR. I'm not entirely sure.
I'm really confused by this.
But to me, it should have been a red card. So I think Germany a little bit fortunate there, and then Spain maybe unfortunate by their own tactics.
Unfortunate by their own tactics. But another win for Germany.
Another win for Germany.
Because this game happened earlier than the French game, are they the first team to go through?
I think
because 6 points, 2 wins, 6 points.
I think it's still not complete. I think I guess they're secured of going through, but not necessarily in top spot or something like that. I think it's something like that.
So right now, Group B is Germany in first place with 6 points, Spain in second place with 3 points, China and South Africa play tomorrow.
There you go.
Yeah, they both have 0 points.
Yeah. I think Germany are probably safe.
I think they'll be okay.
You're willing to take that bet?
Yeah, right. I would. Are you willing to take that bet with me?
No.
I thought I could make some fast money there.
But I am willing to talk about today's appetizer if that works for you.
Even better.
Let's talk about Green Chef, shall we?
Yes, Green Chef is a USDA certified organic company that makes eating well easy and affordable, with plans to fit every kind of lifestyle.
And you know what? Even if they're not your lifestyle, they still fit, because Daryl Grove got a bunch of boxes sent to his house. He shared one with me. They're vegetarian. I'm not a vegetarian. I ate those Green Chef boxes.
Do you enjoy them?
I did.
All right.
So.
Have I converted you to the vegetarian side?
No.
Have I converted you to the Green Chef side?
Yes.
There we go. And you might be thinking, wait, don't you guys advertise HelloFresh?
I thought that.
We do. We also advertise HelloFresh. It's owned by the same company.
Yep.
HelloFresh owns Green Chef. So Green Chef is sort of just a slightly different type of prepare your meals at home service.
Exactly. Yeah. The recipes remain quick and easy with step-by-step instructions and tips and photos to guide you along. But it lets you choose from a wide array of easy-to-follow lifestyles with select organic ingredients, which I did appreciate. My wife, who made the first one, confirmed that she found it very easy to make, despite being a slightly more complicated dish than I think some of the stuff we've had in the past.
Yeah.
She said it was easy.
Did you have the orzo, chickpeas, zucchini, and chard?
That one we had, and then we also had
I had that one.
I forget what it was called, but like the more Greek-inspired one, which I thought was terrific.
I want to say it was Greek couscous.
It had some pita in there.
We haven't made that one yet.
And it was real good.
I look forward to eating it then.
There you go.
As you mentioned, one of the selling points of Green Chef is they offer a variety of organic ingredients, which means you're getting some really high-quality food in that box. And honestly, for me, when you go vegetarian, that's what you need, right? You need high-quality vegetables.
Yep.
I also kind of like the branding. It's not just called the vegetarian option, it's called the plant-powered option.
The plant-powered option?
Yeah.
That's good. I like that one. But I also like, to your point about the veggies, they're seasonally sourced for peak freshness, so you don't have stuff that's out of season or stuff that doesn't quite taste as good, but then you also aren't trying to grow things out of season, which requires a lot of sort of unnatural things to, I feel like, get done. The box has like a lot of these stuff that's in it aside from the food. It comes in, like the packaging material is all recyclable, which I did appreciate.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
It is, sometimes with some of these boxes, there's a lot of stuff in there that you then come away thinking, like, that's a lot of mess for these things. Green Chef, they do their best to make everything recyclable.
So I haven't not recycled it yet, if that helps.
Okay,
which means
good.
the box is just still sitting there. So now I know what to do with it.
Or it's recyclable or biodegradable. Either way, it's nice and easy, and you can put it. You can get rid without feeling like you've just ruined the environment for another 100 years.
The meal plans for Green Chef include paleo. You've done paleo in the past.
I have.
Paleo, plant-powered, vegan and vegetarian, pescatarian, which I think is when you eat fish but not other meats, keto, which I don't know what it is, but I know Mickey Turner is enjoying it, gluten-free, and omnivore. Omnivore, I'm guessing, is everything.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
I'm omnivorous.
But you're not, though.
I'm not. I'm saying that's an example of what someone might say.
Or I am an omnivore. Do you not know dinosaurs? Get your dinosaurs together, my friend. What's wrong with you? I noticed they don't have the carnivore option, so that's good.
This is when you only eat meat?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
It's the T-Rex diet. So for a total of $75 off, that's $25 off each of your first 3 boxes, you can go to greenchef.us/
TSS75.
Thank you, my friend. TSS75 for $75 off, $25 off each of your first 3 boxes at greenchef.us/
TSS75.
There we are.
Added a little moment of drama in there.
I appreciated that moment of drama. Thank you very much to Green Chef for sponsoring today's episode. One more game to review. It's France's game against Norway, which I found incredibly frustrating.
It was, I think, the big game of the day because it's the host nation and they're playing against someone who theoretically should be a challenge to them.
It was, I think maybe I hyped it up too much in my head because in my mind, France looked up until the United States' game against Thailand, and again, that was Thailand, so greatness out there, France looked like one of the most dominant teams, if not the most dominant teams in this tournament. They looked like they had a strong defense, a great goalkeeper, could play really fast passing, could play long and direct, had a lot of pace, had a lot of finishing ability. They seemed like this kind of comprehensive team that were going to be really difficult to beat. Norway, for their part, play the kind of high-pressure, high-intensity system. They, too, have plenty of proven goal scorers and strong midfield, and it just felt like it was going to be this clash of styles, and it was going to be a lot of tinkering and evolving tactics and adjusting where this player went and moving this player to adjust to that player, and it felt like it was going to be kind of a chess match, and instead it felt really kind of haphazard, especially from Norway. It felt
they gave the ball away too easily.
Yeah,
right?
and that made it really hard for me to stay focused on, is I guess the best way I can put it.
So why do we think Norway kept giving the ball away?
I think because France, especially in the second half, I mean, it's not surprising me that they come out and score a goal, but I think especially in the second half, France really upped the intensity of their pressure, that they put Norway under
it's
immediately
not like
and
a full frontal
often.
press, but
No.
when it was in midfield, French players would just be closing down Norwegian players really fast.
Yeah, and it felt like it was always...
You don't mess with Amandine Henry.
You don't. But it also felt like almost like a bad action fight. You know, there's always, in the action fight, there's always, nine guys fighting the one guy, and then the one guy, but it ends up being, only fighting one bad guy at a time while the other ones sort of dance around.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like for me with Norway, where it was as soon as they would maybe get past one French player, another French player comes in and, puts another tackle in, and eventually France are either going to win the ball back, or Norway were going to cough it up or kick it long.
Here's my theory on Norway, is that they normally play sort of high pressure, like they did against Nigeria, and it worked, right? And then move the ball quickly, fast transitions. They didn't really play high pressure against France because it would have been just suicidal, right?
Yeah.
Because people would have just French players would have just passed through them. But I think even when they just had the ball moving it forward, they would just rush the passes too much.
Yeah.
And I think you notice as well, Norwegian players tended to run away from the ball, right? No one was checking to come and receive the ball short. Everybody, Caroline Graham-Hansen, all the Herlofsson, all the strikers, were trying to just go forward and hope for fast balls in behind. and it just wasn't on. And so you ended up with a lot of forced passes from Norway that were kind of easy for France to intercept.
Yes.
Yeah? Especially with the quality of French defenders.
Yes. I think the idea for Norway was that basically they would send their fullbacks forward aggressively.
They did. They did a lot.
And the idea, I believe, was basically to keep France, who did also, it seems like, come out in a 4-4-2.
Defensively, at least, it was a 4-4-2.
And I think the idea was to keep Les Sommer on the left side and then Gianni on the right side to keep them pinned back a little bit because you've got the fullbacks committing forward. Because I went back...
This would be Minde and Vold, right? Would make sure to always get far forward as soon as Norway had the ball.
And I went back because I tweeted at halftime. It seemed to me like Les Sommer on the left side was open all the time for a big switch. She was open a lot, but I think part of that was because she would track back and then she would get ahead of, say, Mo Wold on the right-hand side for Norway because she had pushed so far forward. But it was still France having to drop off a little bit to deal with Norway sending those runners forward. They just weren't able to do anything because, as you said, they were so focused on getting forward that I think those runners outran the ball on a number of occasions.
Would you agree that they were lucky not to get counted? Norway were lucky not to get counted on because I saw so often Minde, the 17 left back, would get forward and then there would just be space for Diani to either run in behind her or sort of beat her to a 50-50. But then Diani, I actually think Torres' daughter ends up making some mistakes, but I think in the first half gets to a lot of crosses, essentially cuts out a lot of crosses that could have been trouble.
Yes, I would agree, and I think she was able to do that because I do think, at least in the first half, France played down to Norway a little bit.
Yeah.
Not necessarily saying that Norway are
also rushing the
much worse,
maybe?
but yes, exactly. That again, it ends. The first half ends. I took a photo of it. Les Sommer is just standing in the box with their hands in the air for a good 5 seconds, and the cross never comes because I think France gets sucked into this kind of I'm going to take you on, I'm going to beat you, and I'm going to cross the ball in. But then it gets so focused on that I'm going to get past this defender, I'm going to dribble past this defender that it goes back into this I'm going to beat you. Oh, I get stuck, and now you go the other way. Then now we stuck you, and we're going to come back that way.
Instead, Diani or Gianni, I'm actually not sure how to pronounce it, but it begins with a D.
Yeah.
The commentators flipped back and forth, right? And my French pronunciation's not good. She could have just hit a big diagonal to Les Sommer.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah, instead of taking on Minde. Maybe she just had a taste for taking on Minde because she kept going past her.
Yes. I mean, that might be, but it doesn't come to anything.
She selected take on Minde from the Green Chef menu.
Perfect. But I think you see a little bit more adaptability maybe from France in the second half because they come right out and score.
They scored basically, 30 seconds to a minute into the second half?
Yes, they do. And it's basically, we can kind of go back and break this down, but it's essentially Norway have the ball, they have possession, and they're just forced into a bad pass, and then France makes some very smart passes to pull Norway out.
Isn't that the difference? The difference in this game is that after Norway makes some bad passes, France makes some smart passes, and that's what opens up a bunch of space.
Yes.
Do you want to get to this goal then? This is the Gauvin goal in the 46th minute, so right from kickoff, more or less. It starts with Norway having the ball.
It does.
Yeah. It's Savik, I believe, number 21, central midfielder. She plays a square pass that I think...
I'm getting my notes out.
You sure are. She plays a square pass that I think is intended for Risa. She's under a bit of pressure, right? But Risa drops back a little bit, and Savik still plays it square, not to Risa, just to open space.
Yeah.
And this seemed like a classic example of Norway rushing a pass.
Yes. Yeah, because I think Savik sees that Borisa is maybe open, but then kind of puts her head down, just wants to get rid of the ball, but is Borisa is no longer there when that ball goes across, and instead Eugène Le Sommer is there to pick that ball up.
Ugh.
And this is where I think France... Maybe it's just Les Sommer, and I'm inclined to give her credit because I think she's an incredibly good player. But I think it's also maybe France at halftime making some adjustments, one of them being slow it down once we're in possession. Because Les Sommer, she gets the ball kind of going from left to right, so back across the field, and instead kind of evaluates the situation and I think recognizes there are a number of French players on this side, but there's also a number of Norwegian players on this side, and she just cuts back and plays it to Amandine Henry, and because Les Sommer has just come from the left-hand side, there's a ton of space out there.
Do you know what else has a ton of space? Savik, who gives the ball away in central midfield. She's the right midfielder.
Yep.
And I think the reason she ends up in central midfield is she's scrambling because, 10 seconds prior to this, Minde, going down the left, had given the ball away and Norway had to scramble backwards.
Exactly.
So, I think this is what it's all about, is that essentially Les Sommer recognises where the space is and intelligently slows it down, plays it out wide, exploits the space.
Yeah, and then Henry gets it. She drives at the defense, and this is another key aspect of it because I forget who it was for Norway who dropped that. I think it was Movald, the right back, is basically trying to hold position because she's tucked inside. Yeah. She's got Henry running at her, but she's also got Majri overlapping. So she has to try to decide.
Risa comes and helps eventually, but it's like she has to scramble to get over there.
But it's as soon as Risa gets there, Mulvald goes wide to try to deal with Marjorie, who's overlapped. But then at that point, you're kind of like maybe 5 yards behind where you would normally want to be.
She's not in time. It's not her fault, I think, because she was trying to cover two players at once. She's not in time to prevent the Marjorie cross.
Yeah.
Here's why I think that's really important. I don't have that good a knowledge of all the players at this World Cup, at least just yet, because we've only seen each team play once. I think Marjorie is the best crosser of a ball in this entire tournament. France's left back, number 10, when she gets forward, I think her crosses are the most dangerous in the entire tournament.
The only other player that I would maybe say is Megan Rapinoe.
Oh,
but even then, I think Marjorie is probably that left foot and the way she kind of whips the ball around and puts it in the box, like the velocity, the dip, the bend. It's very impressive, her crossing ability.
And this one finds Gauvin pretty much in the 6-yard box, right? Gauvin gets across the front of Thorsdottir and is able to score.
But like, look at everything we've just talked about for a moment. It's France pressing, winning the ball back, changing the point of attack, spreading the field, then getting like
having an overlap,
but then getting a quick and deadly ball into the box. Yep. It's not, I'm going to pull a defender out and beat them with a step over, get to the end line, then try to square it. It's sort of, I've got the space, I'm going to take a touch, I'm going to whip this cross in, and then because of that, because Norway are scrambling backwards and trying to find marks and trying to get covered, they're not necessarily focused on the individual marking that they should be, which I think is why Gauvin is able to get goal side and put that ball in.
Yeah, did she come from behind Thorsdottir and just sort of steps across?
She does.
Oh, okay, so that's 1-0 France, and it really feels like, all right, France are going to maybe accelerate through the gears here, and this might be 2 or 3.
I did not think Norway were going to be able to score a goal, which, again, is why I was so frustrated, because it felt like this is going to be end-to-end, and France might be pegged back, and in the end, they are pegged back. Norway do score, but it's not a Norwegian player who scores. Exactly.
Norway don't actually score.
They do not.
In the 54th minute, Wendy Renard scores an own goal, a really bad own goal for a defender of her quality. Before we get to what she was doing, it's worth giving Norway some credit. This move that results in the own goal is maybe the one good attacking pass that Norway had, the one calm, intelligent pass that Norway had for the entire game. Is it Riton, the number 16? She's able to slip it between a centre-back and a right-back, so it's probably Umbach and Torrent, I would guess. Slips the ball between those two players for Herlofsson to run onto.
Yeah. And Herlofsson has made a smart run. She's timed it well.
Down the outside, down the left.
Yeah, and then she's gotten in behind the defence. The issue for me is that it's sort of, in the moment, it's similar to Spain again. She's gotten in, she's kind of in a position where maybe she could shoot, but it's not really going to be the right time to shoot.
She's very wide,
So she goes for the cross instead. But it's a pick her head up, sees that there's a player or a teammate theoretically in the area. It's
Caroline Graham-Hansen.
And then just tries to put the ball in the box. And I think the commentator said, like, she drives it across. Like, it wasn't even really driven.
Yeah.
It was just sort of played across, should have been easily dealt with. It's just that where it
wasn't a good ball, was it?
No.
Because she looks up, sees Caroline Graham-Hansen, then drives to the end line without looking up.
Yeah.
And again, without looking up, just drives it across the top of the box. And I get the corridor of uncertainty and all that sort of stuff, but really you're just playing it into French defenders.
Yeah, because
and it should have been a French defender that cleared this.
It should have been, because you contrast it with like the Germany goal against Spain, and even there, like, there's pressure, there's a German player coming in, you can understand why Marta in the moment didn't quite know what to do. Here, Wendy Renard really isn't under any pressure. She just, I think, tries to play it out for a corner kick and just has bad technique and passes it into her own goal.
Is that what it is? I think it could. The other possibility is that she isn't quite aware of where she is. Like, she doesn't know where the goal is and like how central she is to the goal. So she thinks she can just touch it behind.
Yeah, I mean,
either way, it's a mistake, right? It's either a technical mistake or a positional mistake.
All I'll say is, like, if you watch her when she does it, it doesn't really add evidence to either one or add support for either one, but her reaction is just so clearly like, that is not what I meant to do, which is an obvious thing to say about an own goal, but it's just that moment of like, no, that's not what was supposed to happen. Like it's such a something has malfunctioned moment as opposed to like, whoops, I made a mistake.
And something has malfunctioned in a way that it normally doesn't.
It does not. Yeah. No. Yeah. And that's
like if our internet fails here in the office, it's normally quite reliable.
Yeah.
If it's suddenly gone, it's like, no, this isn't right.
Yes.
Something has gone wrong.
I think I would still be angry at the internet that I would be Renard. And I think her teammates are the same, because you don't really see that moment of like when South Korea have the own goal. There's that moment where the defender kind of like sheepishly isn't making eye contact with the goalkeeper who's staring right at her. You don't have that here. You have Buhati comes out and like pats her on the back and like gives her some love. And I think Henri comes back, and maybe Mbok comes back as well. So it seems like she got picked up by her teammates a lot. She also seemed like she then was really trying to score some goals.
Yeah.
And when France eventually do get their go-ahead goal, she makes sure to go find Eugene Lesomer, the penalty taker, pick her up, gives her a big hug. I think she was quite relieved.
This is obvious, but this is what I like on teams I play on, is when a player has a horror moment like that, the thing to do is put your arm around them, pat them on the back, tell them don't worry. And to Renard's credit, I mean, she probably would have done this anyway because she's an experienced pro, but she's solid for the rest of the game. She absolutely doesn't have what you call a quicksand game where that moment causes her to just like sink deeper and deeper and like, get too in her own head and make a bunch of mistakes. And I think teammates gathering around you after you make a mistake is a big part of you being able to move forward as a defender who's made a mistake.
Yeah.
He said, speaking as a defender who's made some
mistakes.
mistakes.
No, I totally agree with you. I just think what you're talking about is incredibly difficult in the moment. And I say that like I've had that experience before where I've wanted to do that, and I was just so frustrated in that moment that I was like, I just got to walk away for a second.
Yeah.
So that
because you might end up yelling at someone.
Yeah. But and not even because like I'm really mad. It's just in that moment it's hard, like the raw emotion of like, no, it was going so well, and then this happened. That her teammates.
And then you happened.
Yeah. That her teammates instead choose to pick her up is an incredibly important thing to me. That like that's the kind of unity of the French team. The other thing that was very interesting to me
which
is
ironically isn't part of their liberté, égalité, fraternité.
There you go.
There we go. It's kind of unity, right?
But the other one that I think is worth noting here, and if you see the replays when the French players are walking back, so there's like some consolation for Wendy Renard, but it's Torrent, the right back, and Henri, Amadine Henri, the captain, are engaged in a conversation it's not a heated conversation, but it's clearly they're frustrated about that pass that you mentioned and about the spacing that Norway are starting to find.
Which is the correct way of thinking of it, right? Like that's an error that can be cut out. The Wendy Renard error can't be cut out because it's such a freak incident. There's no way to like legislate for that.
No.
But you can legislate for not having that through ball.
And so now think about this again, that like one of your most veteran, experienced players that you look to be calm in a moment of stress has just passed the ball into her own net. You're now like the other team has equalized when they probably didn't deserve to, and now you're sort of could be really frustrated. Instead, in that moment, all of her teammates are picking her up except for the other teammates who are trying to figure out how to shut down that point of attack so that they can get the attack going.
Yeah.
It would make me very nervous if I were a team that were potentially playing France in, say, the quarterfinals, is all I'm saying.
Well, less than 20 minutes later. That own goal was 54th minute. France are back ahead in the 72nd minute.
That they are.
A Eugenie Lesomer penalty kick.
All right. This was another contentious moment. 3 contentious VAR moments on the day.
Yeah.
This one took a while as well because it's Torrent in the box. It's after. Well, should we go back a little further or should we just get to the incident?
I think we should go straight to the incident and maybe backtrack later. If people want to hear about the incident.
Yeah, but it's Torrent in the box. Then she has there's a challenge from Engen. The ball eventually spills to Busalia. Busalia gets the shot off. It goes well over. Everybody thinks, well, that probably should have been better, except for Amandine Henri and a couple other French players who are yelling at the referee. Yep. Referee then gets a hand to the ear, goes and looks at the screen, and ends up awarding a penalty for the contact from Engen. Yes,
so Engen essentially, in attempting to clear the ball, kicks straight through and into Torrent's kneecaps.
Yes. Yeah, and
into her meniscus is what I'm going to say.
Yeah, and I think the Fox crew was drawing an analogy to the South Africa game where it was like you leave the studs up, you make contact, it's going to be a penalty. I mean, like, if you have to kind of do a little bit of like, this is not a good way to explain this, but you have to like do a mental exercise here. But if you see it as Torrent getting the ball first, it does not look to me like Engen even touches the ball. So that whole debate about like she gets the ball but then she gets contact, it's kind of moot to me because I don't think she even gets the ball.
Because you think Torrent is cutting back, right? The reason the ball goes backwards is because Torrent approaches the ball with her right foot, facing goal, but cuts back the other way to avoid Engen.
Maybe
so that's why the ball goes that way, not because Engen actually gets a touch on it as she follows through into Torrent's meniscus.
Yeah, and maybe is even trying to cut back for Busaglia to get that shot. But I think...
Which, by the way, not a great shot.
It's not a great shot. She's sitting, like she's like standing and leaning
3
back.
3 points?
Hopefully.
She might also be a rugby fan.
Hopefully
French
it goes over
as well.
It might not have gone through. But so, I mean, I think there's contact there regardless. It's definitely bottom of the boot to knee. And It feels unfortunate because in that moment, like, the play is gone. Engen seems completely shell-shocked by what's happened here, but I think it's correctly given as a penalty.
I do. I think even if Engen does make contact with that ball, and like maybe it's the bottom of her foot that scuffs it clear or whatever, it's still a penalty kick because it's still what she did is reckless and is a foul, even if you get to the ball first. I got the ball ref is not an excuse for also getting the play.
I always have to go back to an indoor game, strangely, because sliding isn't allowed. But it was like, I remember I was dribbling on goal and a player came around and like kind of got the ball, but like took out my legs completely and then screamed afterwards when the penalty was given. He was like, I got all ball. And the ref was like, yeah, you can't get his legs to get the ball. Like, that's not allowed. You can't do both. And so I think that's a good reminder here that, like, yeah, you can maybe get a touch to the ball, but if then the rest of your cleat ends up embedded in a kneecap, you're probably going to concede a foul.
Ooh, and it really was, right? She actually kicks her right in the kneecap. That's why it's a foul. That's why it's a penalty kick. There is no debate for me about this at all.
No.
100% penalty kick.
And I want to say 100%. I'm a very big fan of Eugene Lesomer. If that weren't obvious, I want her taking all of our penalties forever. If in any situation, in any team we're on, any team we're on, I want to find a way to get her on that team.
Fly her in.
Because I watched her standing there.
What are you doing Sunday at 11:25? Kickoff's at 11. We're going to win a penalty by 11:24.
We can pay you nothing. But you want we watched the penalty as she was standing there. I said to you, I was like, oh, she scored this goal. Like, she did not have anything that betrayed nerves about her. It was just like, this is my moment and I'm scoring this goal.
She was breathing in and out, but I guess you need oxygen, right?
You do. Yes. Yes.
So what, from her perspective, bottom left corner, right foot, not quite in the side netting, but in the corner.
But but on the ground with enough pace behind it, it's the exact spot to hit that penalty. And I think it's going to be very difficult for a goalkeeper to get it, even at like full stretch, even if guessing correctly.
So we've definitely talked about penalty.
Which I guess she does. The Norwegian goalkeeper Helmsmith or something like that. Helmsmith.
Yeah,
there it is.
Exactly that. So
there's a J in there.
We've talked about the penalty kick. We've talked about how it was won. It starts with a Norwegian giveaway.
Yep.
It is unfortunately Thorsdottir again, who I thought actually had a mostly good game in terms of cutting out French crosses, but she doesn't cut out the cross. Govan scores. And she gives the ball away to start this whole sequence. She is essentially bringing the ball out of the back, looking for a pass upfield, and just takes a horrible touch and is completely dispossessed by Govan, I believe. And it's like a Govan and Tine have a sort of 2-on-2 or 2-on-3 counter-attack that doesn't really come to anything because I think Tine refuses to run beyond, which I think is a problem for France, actually. Tine doesn't like to go in behind. She likes to be the support striker even when she needs to run in behind. So that doesn't come to anything, but once it pops loose, once again, France work it and get a cross in, I think. And that's what ends up with a bit of the scramble that leads to Engen having to make that weird tackle thing that she does.
And it's also worth noting, I think Tarrant wins a first challenge and then it's another 50-50 one and she goes after that ball again. So you see the kind of intensity of the French counter-press.
Right? Isn't it a cross that's blocked, but then she just runs it down twice?
Yeah.
So well done to Tarrant. I mean, we haven't really talked about it, right? We've talked a lot about Marjorie because we really like Marjorie. Tarrant down the right as well is really dangerous right back. Yeah.
I mean, I think they are two of the best fullbacks in the World Cup.
There we go.
That is my feeling.
That's scary if you're not France.
It is indeed.
All right, so after that game, you got anything else to say on that game, Taylor?
I do not, other than I thought it still was kind of disappointing to me in the end because it's just a game where I'll put it this way, like I came in here really excited to watch that game and like round halfway through the second half, I think I was like, so Daryl, like, have you seen that movie yet, or have you watched that? I think we started talking about Barry. I think at some point in there, like it's just one of those games where. Like, because it's so...
Noho Hank would have made this game better.
Yeah, there you go. Because it's so kind of disjointed and it's Norway being dispossessed and really struggling to get into the flow of the game. But I think France didn't necessarily have their best game either. It ended up being a sort of like non-compelling game when I thought it was going to be one of the most compelling games of the group stage.
Because not enough threat from Norway, essentially.
Basically, just don't overhype the games for yourself and then it's fun.
Speaking of the group stage, so Group A, everybody's played 2 games now. It's France on top with 6 points. Norway are in second with 3 points and a +2 goal difference. +2 goal difference. Nigeria in third with 3 points and a -1 goal difference. Korea. Rock bottom.
The Republic of Korea.
The Republic of Korea, 0 points, -6 goal difference.
All right.
And no goal scored.
All right. Only 2 games tomorrow? Is that correct?
Only 2 games tomorrow. Let me pull up the games just so to make sure I 100% get them right.
But they're not maddeningly frustrating times like they are on Saturday?
Yeah. So there's no 9 a.m. game Eastern tomorrow. It starts at noon with Australia, Brazil.
It's going to be a good one.
So don't overhype it in your head. But Australia are nice.
Best game of the group stage.
Australia are nice and open and attacking. Brazil, maybe we didn't think would be firing on all cylinders, but beat Jamaica 3-0, so they definitely have attacking weapons. So Marta might be back, and that will be what Fox hypes up. I don't think it matters if Marta is back or not, because you've still got Formiga. You've still got,
I was going to say it doesn't matter, just watch Formiga.
Cristiane, who is just behind Alex Morgan with 3 goals, 2 goals behind. But she scored a hat-trick in the first game. Who's the number 7? Andressa Alves. I really enjoy watching her. So,
your pronunciation was solid there, my friend.
Getting better from my Brazil players.
From half the Wolves team, I think, is what it is.
Thank you, Ruben Neves.
Yeah, there you go.
Australia, Brazil.
Australia,
Brazil, we think will be a good game, right? Later on at 3 o'clock, it's South Africa, China. I don't know what to make of that one. We'll watch and see what happens.
Yes, we will.
Fair?
Definitely fair. It's just because South Africa had the strong start, and then we don't know how they're going to do with the replacing the red card, and then we kind of conceding some of the goals they did in the ways they did. We don't know what to make of them. China, I would expect them to be physical and scrappy as they were against Germany.
Yeah, so they were stodgy, right? It was like a stodgy 4-4-2.
I'm going to say I have high expectations for Australia, Brazil, slightly lower expectations for China, South Africa, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes.
We will also, on tomorrow's show, obviously we'll be reviewing both of those games. We're also going to do some listener questions. We've got some listener questions that we really want to answer, so we'll be weaving some of those in as well.
Can I tell one final story before we head out today?
Yeah, if you want.
When Daryl got to the office, I asked him if he had seen the Timothy Weah rumor. I think it's still a rumor at this point of apparently Lille in France, Ligue 1, have made a €10 million offer. That's the rumor as of time of recording, to transfer Timothy Weah. And within 2 minutes, I think it went from me telling you that to, I can't believe Timothy Weah is going to start for a Champions League team next season.
He might.
He might. But your optimism about Timothy Weah.
Lille to Champions League glory.
Daryl is such a pragmatist in so many ways. I don't think it was on Timothy Weah. I'm pretty sure you were like, he's going to win the Champions League.
Would you agree? So Lille finished second in Ligue 1. I think 16 points behind PSG, but still.
It could have been 80, and I would have believed you.
So Lille finished second in Ligue 1. They'll be in the Champions League. Yeah. I feel like a €10 million bid is for a player that they're going to play.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. I'm not saying he's a guaranteed starter, but I don't know enough about Lille to know who he'd be replacing, say, on the left wing or whatever, but he's going to get a better chance at that first 11 than he will at PSG.
Yes, that is decidedly true.
I sort of downgraded that to be more realistic halfway through the sentence, but I stand by it. Can we say this? Do we want him to go to Lille?
Yes.
Do we want this transfer to go through?
Yes.
Why so? I agree with you, but I'm just interested in us reasoning out why. Because it's going from a super club to a club.
Yeah, but as you've already said, it's going from a super club where he's probably not going to play. I think Thomas Tuchel has done a good job there. I think it's still a bit of a circus. I don't know if that's going to change, and I don't.
It's not a stable situation for a teenage player who's not highly valued in terms of the way Neymar's highly valued, or Mbappe's highly valued to be in.
And I would rather him go to on a permanent move than Celtic as an example. We were excited when he went there. We were excited when that move started. Then Brendan Rodgers.
Excited when Brendan Rodgers went to Leicester.
Exactly. Then suddenly Brendan Rodgers leaves. Neil Lennon comes in. It doesn't seem like Timothy Weah fits the system. He ends up leaving early.
Yeah.
And so that can be a huge issue, that if you're trying to go out on loan and then suddenly things change and now you're not playing anymore and you're a developing teenager.
Yeah, same thing happened to Matt Miazga.
Yeah.
I mean, not a teenager, but I think a loan situation, because you're by definition a temporary employee, you maybe are more at risk if the wind changes.
Yeah, exactly.
You're more likely to get blown out of the first team.
So I would much rather him go to a team that maybe aren't going to win Ligue 1, but he's going to get lots of minutes potentially, and maybe play in the Champions League, and maybe get turn some more heads.
Winners.
There we go. So I think that is a move that I would like. But Travis Clark and I are this week on the Top Drawer Soccer Show going to discuss what we would like to see from some of the American players from the U20 World Cup squad, what we would like to see from them this season, or what our kind of expectations are now that this tournament is done.
That's a good show. So tell me more about this Top Drawer Soccer Show if people don't know about it.
It's a show that Travis Clark and I do.
It is. It's a show that we produce for Top Drawer Soccer. I haven't been involved for
I didn't know what else to say, so I'm glad that you took over. I genuinely didn't know. I was like, we talk about young players, I guess?
So I'm theoretically involved, right? But I haven't been involved for a while because essentially you've been very kindly giving me time off to recover from stuff. Trying to anyway. Top Drawer Soccer Show is a completely separate feed. You can find it, Top Drawer Soccer Show. Search wherever you listen to podcasts, search for that. And once a week, Taylor Rockwell and usually Travis Clark discuss essentially.
I would say Travis Clark and usually Taylor Rockwell. Okay, sometimes it's Travis doing interviews.
Travis Clark and usually Taylor Rockwell discuss essentially youth soccer, but up to like under 20s, under 23s. Yeah. It's a lot of like future of the US men's national team stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot of that. But then we did like 3 shows ago, maybe we did like young players to watch at the Women's World Cup. So we'll do sort of like preview shows as well. Lots of different content in there.
Have any of those come good? Like any player that you said, this young player is going to be really good and they've sort of had a bit of a breakout?
Yes, but I struggle to remember who. I mean, I think like my American was Mallory Pugh. She scored her first goal. So I feel like I get the credit for that one, right?
Did she celebrate?
I believe she did. I believe she certainly did. Why are you taking us down this road?
That's as much as I'll say about that. Maybe before we get tempted into talking about that again.
That's probably a good call. Ellie Carpenter, she had the assist for Australia, right?
She did, yes.
There we go.
She
did,
yeah.
All me again.
Yes. All Taylor. Should we wrap up then?
I suppose we probably should.
All right, Taylor Rockwell.
Before I claim credit for more things that are decidedly not my work.
Thank you for taking the time to talk to me today.
I did it all.
Listeners, thank you for listening. You really did do it all by listening. We will talk to you again tomorrow.
I mean, I did.